Now, from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
The attack ads are over, the voting almost complete. Decision time, we think, is finally here.
The much anticipated election day 2020 is almost in the books. And in the next couple of hours, we'll wait together to see who will lead our country and communities for the years to come. 10 on Your Side is your local election headquarters on this very important night. Good evening to you. We hope that you're doing well, and we hope that you got to vote.
And if you didn't, we're down to about 60 minutes for you to get to your polling place. Chopper 10 high in the air over this place this afternoon as people got ballots in on those official day to vote, the last official day to vote. Those wait times weren't too bad today, likely thanks to early voting.
State officials say they expect a last-minute surge of voters, but it's been an otherwise quiet day with very few issues. Polls close at 7 in Virginia, 7:30 for those of you in North Carolina. However, a handful of polling places there opened late, so the vote count won't begin until 8:15.
Now, we all know the big race this year is for president. The Trump and Biden camps were both out and about today. Joe Biden spent much of the day in the battleground state of Pennsylvania, while President Trump thanked campaign staff at their headquarters in Arlington. And, of course, the presidency isn't the only thing happening this election day.
That's why we have a team of reporters and photographers working from early morning until late tonight to bring you the full story of Election Day 2020 in Hampton Roads, Virginia, North Carolina, and the nation. So we'll get that part started. Our coverage starts at 6 with 10 on Your Side's Gina Arevalo.
She's live in Kempsville in these final moments of voting here in Hampton Roads. So, Gina, how are things going there?
Tom and Anita, it has been smooth sailing ever since we got here this afternoon. We're waiting for an update from the Virginia Beach registrar, but as of noon today, we learned that more than 60% of registered voters have cast a ballot in person, and that number has definitely grown since then. Here at the church at this polling location, we have seen people steadily coming and going. Foot traffic is picking up just a little bit now that people are off of work, and they're trying to get in during that last hour while polls are open. Now, overall, no lines like you guys mentioned, and aside from the morning rush when polls opened at 6, the wait times have been minimal, and even better, no major issues to report. We're told there was an incident at the Three Oaks location earlier today where a handful of voters got a sample ballot, but that was quickly corrected. More good news, there haven't been any machine malfunctions reported either, and the latest tally of mail-in and early voting ballots is more than 196,000. Now, as we all know, this is a historic election, and we spoke with one man who says it was his first time ever to vote. He hopes to set an example for his kids. We also talked with a young voter who cast his ballot today for the first time. No matter the difference in opinion, many voters agree the 2020 election is one that is too important to miss.
Being able to have my voice, heard through voting, really makes a difference. Just with everything that's going on in our society today, I feel like it is important to vote, especially, as someone who is the, first time voting.
Now, again, if you still need to cast your ballot, you have just under an hour to do so. And at this location, people are walking in and coming right back out in just a few minutes. So we will be sure to update you as those poll numbers come in. We're now reporting live in Virginia Beach. Gina Arevalo, 10 on Your Side.
And I'm Kayla Gaskins in Newport News. We're at the Watkins Early Learning Center, one of the polling locations in the city. And so far, there have not been any lines out here today. People are walking in and out saying it's taking less than 5 minutes to cast their ballot. And that's been the case pretty much all day. Earlier today, we checked in with election officials in Newport News. They said today has run smoothly so far, so no technical issues and no excessively long lines. We caught up with the Davis family from Newport News. They told us why they're making their civic duty, voting, a family affair.
It was my son's first time voting.
Yes.
And it was monumental. Yes. He loved it.
And basically, we wanted to come out and vote for the best candidate that has the most integrity, experience, and it's going to represent the United States. And my daughter is in 5th grade, and she also had the opportunity to watch her brother vote as well. So we definitely making a generational test.
And we did ask the Newport News election officials what those early voting numbers look like. They said they haven't released any official numbers yet, but the nonprofit, the Virginia Public Access Project, they've been counting up those early voters as well. They say 47,000 people voted early in Newport News. That's compared to 6,000 who voted early in 2016. And again, we will get those official early voting numbers as everything else trickles in once the polls close here in about an hour. We will continue live coverage from the peninsula all evening. I'm Kayla Gaskins, 10 on your side.
I'm Chris Horn, live at the Chrysler Museum precinct in Norfolk, where nearly 60% of the people who were registered in this precinct had already voted early, either in person or by mail-in prior to today. The whole process today was very simple because the lines were very scant. About 5 minutes to get out of your car, go inside in the Chrysler Museum, vote, and come back out. According to VPAP, the Virginia Public Access Program that Kayla just mentioned, about 58% of registered voters, there were 4,030 registered voters in this precinct, had already cast their ballots prior to today. As of this past hour, they have passed 600 of about 1,700 available remaining voters today. So combine them, you've probably got close to 75% participation in this precinct. And some of those voters told us about their preference for president, as well as whether they think a casino for Norfolk is a good bet.
Oh, I voted for Biden.
We voted for Biden.
I voted for Joe Biden.
Trump.
I voted no for the casino.
And why was that?
I just think that that's not the best type of industry that we want in Norfolk.
We need money-making projects, and this seems like, to me, a very good project.
Norfolk voters not the only ones voting for a casino. Portsmouth as well. We'll have results of both of those races, plus all the other local races coming up later on. For now, live in Norfolk, Chris Horn, 10 on your side. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Chris. To North Carolina now, where no traffic, no wait, no problems. That was the scene at Moyock Elementary School as ballots were cast around lunchtime. Several voters told 10 on your side they gave themselves more time than they needed.
There are 10 other voting locations across Currituck County. Organizers who'd been there since the doors opened said as of noon, about 600 voters had come through. We asked voters which issues were most important to them.
As far as like agriculture goes and like how we like our food production from like start to finish, like that's really important to me because I feel like if we don't take care of the planet, nobody's gonna be able to, live in it.
Job, save my gun rights.
Poll workers at Moyock Elementary say the lines are expected to pick up now through 7:30 p.m.
Still to come on this special edition of WAVY News 10 at 6. Several cities are looking for leaders for the next 4 years. We'll check in with the race for mayor in Virginia Beach after the break.
Plus a huge race for Congress at Hampton Roads. Will Scott Taylor get his old seat back, or will Elaine Luria get 2 more years?
A look at where we've been for the day today. It warmed up rather nicely after a chilly start. It was in the low 40s in the Hampton Roads cities, then warmed up to 63 degrees. During the afternoon tomorrow, what's it going to be? Even warmer, around 68 degrees. What's the rest of the story about that hurricane, too? Tell you all about it in a few minutes.
A lot more to come on this very long election night.
And we thank you for choosing us as your source for election information. We're back after the break.
From the station on your side, you're watching WAVY News 10 at 6.
And as you went down your ballot today or the past few weeks, you know there were plenty of elections to make in your community.
And 3 cities in the metro are voting for a mayor this time around. As you've seen with the campaign signs around, Portsmouth, Virginia Beach, and Suffolk have the city's top spot up for grabs today.
And 3 candidates are vying to be the next mayor of the resort city. Incumbent Bobby Dyer is being challenged by Jody Wagner and R.K. Kowalowicz. All 3 were out across Virginia Beach, speaking with voters at the polls. 10 on your side caught up with Wagner outside the Moose Family Lodge, which is the Magic Hollow precinct. And she said if elected, she will be a mayor for all of Virginia Beach, regardless of political affiliation.
Should I win, I intended to be their mayor and to work for every single one of them, whether they supported me, they didn't support me, even those that worked against me, because I really want the city of Virginia Beach to thrive. And the next few years are going to be difficult with COVID, so we're going to have to all pull together.
And the incumbent, Mayor Bobby Dyer, has been mayor since 2018 when he won the election after former Mayor Will Sessom stepped down.
Next at 6, who will get the hottest seat in Congress for our area? Team coverage of this big race after the break.
And a quick reminder that some of tonight's results may head into the overnight hours. So tune in tomorrow at 4:30 a.m. because the team on your side will be here for WAVY News 10 today.
From the station on your side, you're watching WAVY News 10 at 6.
All right, we're back now with one of the most hotly contested races in all of Virginia, the race for Congress in the 2nd District.
You've seen it all play out on TV with a nasty battle of attack ads. Democrat Elaine Luria is trying to hang on to her seat for a 2nd term. Republican Scott Taylor wants to get back what Luria won from him 2 years ago. We have 2 reports, beginning with 10 on your side's Andy Fox covering the incumbent tonight. Andy?
Tom and Anita, it has been a tough, nasty race. But one of the big headlines this election season is that early voting works. This is the Kingston precinct. Now, here at the Kingston precinct, we are seeing what's working all over the city. Strategy at work. Crowds are half what they would be. So far, 760 have voted here, but 802 voted early, with 79 still to be counted. That's about 85% voter turnout, highest they can remember here. Same success at the Cape Henry precinct. No lines. Here we are there. People are engaged in this election. We know that. And COVID-19 seems to be the overriding issue for Democrats like Elaine Luria, who is fending off that competitive challenge by Scott Taylor, whom she beat in 2018.
I've heard a lot of disappointment about the fact that, there really hasn't been a national plan. There hasn't been a national plan for testing. The same thing for PPE, the same thing, what are we going to do to get a vaccine out to 300 million Americans? We need a plan, and we need leadership at the top that's going to make that happen.
I mean, here's a prediction. We will never have another presidential election without early voting. And a lot of states across the country did not have that. You will see that become a standard with presidential elections. Now, the polls here at Kingston and other places open until 7. If you are standing in line, when the polls close, you will be able to vote. But based on what we're seeing here, the big, heavy work, the heavy lifting of this election done with early voting. That's the latest from Virginia Beach. Andy Fox, 10 on your side.
I'm Brett Hall at Woodstock Elementary School in Virginia Beach. Last time we all voted for president, this location had more people come to vote than any other location in Virginia Beach, and it could certainly keep that title going into tonight. That's why both Congresswoman Elaine Luria and candidate Scott Taylor were here today. Now, Taylor, very important for him to be here. He lost this precinct in 2018 by just 72 votes, a number he believes he can flip. He says there's a far different atmosphere in the air than there was then. He tells us even after the election fraud investigation involving his campaign, even after trailing in the latest polls, he is feeling confident of his chances, partly because he believes the president could help him.
What's interesting is what you're seeing on TV and what's reported in sort of the national media is not what you're seeing in person and what you're hearing from people, and you're talking and you're watching the rallies. I mean, you'll have a rally with Joe Biden yelling at 50 cars, and then you have the president with a sea of people that are motivated and ready to go.
He also believes he could benefit from people voting for Biden and him. He doesn't believe he just has those that are supporting the current president that will be supporting him. One thing worth noting, there is a third candidate in this race, independent David Foster. No signs of him here today. We're live in Virginia Beach. Brett Hall, 10 on your side.
Thank you, Brett. We'll also watch races in the 1st, 3rd, and 4th District, as well as the Senate. One more reminder about the polls tonight. Virginia will close at 7 p.m. North Carolina closes at 7:30. If you are in line at closing time, you will be allowed to vote. Need a quick course on the candidates? Head to the politics page of WAVY.com.
Now, your Super Doppler 10 forecast from Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Very, very quiet weather for our part of the world, and very active into Central America with Hurricane Ada. Very dangerous storm. 140-mile-an-hour winds as of the latest. It is making landfall right now as we speak. The 5 p.m. update has it just barely offshore, but the eye is coming onshore ever so slowly, moving to the west at 5 miles an hour. Now, I want to show you this because there is a chance that it could come near the United States. So we want to show what's going on with it. It's going to be weakening. I want to show you what's going on. It'll weaken in terms of wind, but it's going to carry huge, huge rain all the way through Central America. Here's Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, all the way on up to Belize right there. Likely exit just very close to Belize, right into here. Here's where it is by Friday. So it will spend the rest of this week over land most of Friday and then start emerging coming up by Friday morning and Friday evening. Now, there's where it is by Friday evening at 7. Moves on through western Cuba coming up by Saturday. By Sunday, it's on the southeast coast of the United States, very, very close to Miami. Now, likely it'll have around 50-mile-an-hour winds. And this is where the Hurricane Center has it by Sunday as well, right on into here with 50-mile-an-hour winds. I've dipped down so you can see this. High uncertainty this far in advance. But I want to show you what it's doing. This forecast model just updated. It did have it moving through the Tampa-St. Petersburg area and then basically falling apart as it moved on toward about Apalachicola Bay coming up next week, first part of next week. However, it now has it moving on westward. This forecast model just updated. So high uncertainty this far in advance. Where's it going to go once it gets closer to Miami, South Florida? We just don't know at this point. And then it's basically got it lollygagging into here on Tuesday, on into Wednesday. You can see it at the bottom of your screen. But again, I don't have a lot of confidence in what this thing is going to be doing. Now, by Wednesday and Thursday, it does look like there's going to be a cool front moving on through that will sweep up some of that moisture off of that. Could give us some rain. Again, that's a week, 9 days away. So again, huge speculation at this point. This part isn't speculative at all. We're going to see lots and lots of sunshine. It's going to warm up, and election day across the country. A few flakes of snow into the northeast, a few rain showers into the northwest, and otherwise really, really very, very quiet throughout the United States. Certainly quiet for us, and temperatures are going to continue their recovery. We'll take it between now and into Thursday evening, show you what's going on. There's where we are tonight at 7 o'clock. Temperatures low 50s. By tomorrow morning, low to mid 40s, perhaps some upper 30s into some inland locations. Here's what things are coming up by tomorrow afternoon at 1, 68 for a high, and again, lots and lots of sunshine for the day tomorrow. Here's where things are by Thursday. We can see a few clouds rolling on through, but not that awfully much. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it's going 71. I'm going 72 for a high, so no real big differences going on there. A look at our what's going on in terms of any cloud cover out there. Nah, nothing. Skies are very clear. Air is real nice and dry through the region. Temperatures low to mid 50s on this one. We've got some mid 40s to around 50 degrees on this one. And again, it's a little cool. It was cold this morning, though, pretty close to where we expected. We expected 34 to 43. We got 33 to 43 for overnight lows last night. Here's where we are, 45 to 55 right now. It's getting cool out there. There's some inland spots once again, and it'll get cool inland, around 38 degrees, 46 near the shoreline. Clear, calm, not quite as cold. Winds dropping off to nothing really during the evening hours. 68, though, for a high tomorrow. Today we hit 63. 72 on Thursday, and basically in the low 70s all the way into next week.
Thanks, Don. Next at 6, some important decisions in the federal trial of an OBGYN accused of insurance fraud.
That and an update on coronavirus as we continue at 6.
From the station on your side, you're watching WAVY News 10 at 6.
Closing arguments are expected to begin in the morning for the Chesapeake OBGYN accused of insurance fraud.
Today was a day off for the federal jury so that they could vote. But prosecutors and defense attorneys were back at court today to hammer out jury instructions. Dr. Javed Perwaiz is facing 61 federal charges. Prosecutors say that he billed insurance companies for unneeded surgeries for his patients. The jury could also start deliberations tomorrow afternoon. Our Jason Marks will be there to cover it all.
And now let's get you updated on coronavirus in the area. Virginia has nearly 1,300 new cases in the state, as well as 8 additional deaths. North Carolina saw a huge jump in both, with more than 2,300 new cases and 67 new deaths. That's another record high of cases for the Tar Heel state. Back to election coverage now, and a reminder that we are on your side all night long.
All night. We are on air and online as the votes are counted. Coverage continues on Fox 43 at 6:30. Then join us on both WAVY and Fox 43 for a special edition of WAVY News 10 at 7. NBC begins coverage on air at 8, and Tom and I will be on WAVY.com from 8 to 10. Then join us on air again on Fox 43 at 10 and on WAVY News 10 at 11. We're on your side all night long. Just stay where you are. And remember, we are in this together as we look to the future of leadership in our nation.
Lots of coverage to get to, and one last check of the weather.
Okay, we had a beautiful election day, and it's beautiful out there right now. You got 34 minutes yet into Virginia. I believe it closes at 7. Yeah, and a little later in North Carolina.
7:30.
7:30 in North Carolina. So we got some beautiful weather out there. 68 degrees going for the day tomorrow. So a little warmer even than what we saw for the day today. And then we're looking at temperatures each afternoon into the low 70s. No rainfall until there's a slight chance of rainfall next Tuesday.
No excuses. Get those votes in if you haven't already. Got a little bit of time left, but we'll be right here.
And now our coverage continues on Fox 43. Stay with your local election headquarters.